All right, thank you for joining us for our next live episode of the Pathways to Energy Efficiency webinar series. Today we are talking about the ins and outs of energy efficiency. If you do have questions, please feel free to enter them into the chat box. We will have time for questions at the end. We are going to take a few minutes before we get started to just let everybody settle in. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about energy efficiency. So what is it? The basic definition of energy efficiency, it refers to a method of reducing your consumption of energy to maintain the same amount of energy output. So a good example of that would be an energy efficient light bulb. So if you took an LED light bulb, it uses about 75 to 80% less energy than your traditional 60-watt light bulb. However, it produces the same level of energy output, the same amount of light in your home. So what energy efficiency isn't is energy conservation. So there's two main definitions there. Energy conservation is a type of a way to reduce your energy that calls for a certain degree of sacrifice and a significant change to your everyday life. So what does that look like? It looks like using a clothesline instead of your clothes dryer to save the energy of running your dryer during the summertime. Or what that looks like also is turning down your heat in the winter. So maybe you're a little less comfortable in your home with the heat turned down. You might be a little colder. So that's energy conservation. However, if we look at energy efficiency, it's maintaining that same amount of quality output while using less energy. So instead of turning down your heat in the winter time, you can look at an option of installing an energy efficient furnace. It will keep your house at the same comfortable temperature that you desire, keep you nice and comfortable, but you'll be using less energy because of the design of that energy efficient furnace. Okay, and so now Nick is going to tell us a little bit about why energy efficiency is important.
So likely you've heard some of the basics about climate change science, how increasing amounts of greenhouse gases, mostly carbon dioxide from fossil fuel burning, is trapping more heat inside our planet's thin atmospheric shell. How ice in the poles and glaciers is melting, which is increasing sea levels and causing coastal flooding and imperiling the survival of coastal cities and low-lying island nations. How warmer air holds more moisture, which contributes to more intense rainfall and flooding. How weather patterns are being affected with increased drought and heat waves in many parts of the world, and flooding in others, and how all of this is impacting humans and other living creatures, large and small, throughout the entire planet. So, what you may not know is that your individual actions can have an impact. As you can see with the pie chart here, New York State greenhouse gas emissions, the two largest slices of that pie are transportation and residential. Transportation in this chart is a large contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, but over the course of the next few months, we're going to focus mainly on that 22.1% residential greenhouse gas emissions number. We can reduce this number by becoming more energy efficient in our homes. Next slide, please. And so being energy efficient in our homes leads to reduced utility bills and the financial burden of energy use. And so by reducing a significant portion of our emissions in this residential sector, we can reduce our energy bills. So there is a significant opportunity for this emissions reduction. In fact, the US Department of Energy estimates that you can reduce your energy use and by extension your utility bills by up to 25 or 30% by implementing energy efficient appliances and projects within your home. Because households are charged for energy electricity use by kilowatt hours, reducing the energy consumption directly then results in utility savings.
So there's a lot of myth busting that goes with energy efficiency, and there's a kind of a retooling of thought process when you make the choice that you want to go this path. And just to let you know that Katie, Nick, and I are all available to chat with any of you at any point in time to help you navigate your decisions in the process. But one of the, it's not really a myth, but one of the restructuring of thought processes is when you, so going energy efficient, whether it's from the time that you're building your own new building, or you're looking to maybe invest some money into upgrading your existing housing situation, yes, there's money that you lay out front. And that is true, but what happens is over time, that investment pays itself back. And part of the process that we're here to help you with, and connecting you with contractors who actually can calculate out what those payback periods are, is that over the long term, or even sometimes a really short term, sometimes less than a year, you will get your money back in savings, whether it's from your electric bill, from your heating bill. I can tell you right here, I'm in a 100-year-old house, farmhouse, and I went through this process, and it's very true. You do save money, but you also end up with savings in terms of health benefits, also in terms of comfort. I used to have to wear down booties and a down coat all winter. I don't have to do that anymore. So it's, yes, you will be in many situations outlaying money up front, but that will pay itself back again, whether through its actual savings or through the comfort of your house, and always usually through both. But also being aware that NICE started the program that is funding our jobs here, and the utilities, National Grid, NICEAG, or your local utility. There are incentives available depending on your income, depending on which program you're eligible for, that will help offset some of those costs. So your payback periods shrink even more over time. So again, it's a restructuring of how we think of investment. So next slide. So this is a foundation, you know, just to get us thinking about what is energy efficiency. What do we mean when we hear that word? And our job, Nick, Katie, and I, our job is to help you all, whether you're a business, a not-for-profit, an individual, to make your living situation more efficient, so that the next several presentations that we do will help guide you through what that process will look like. And typically the very first step that one would take would be something called an energy audit. The word audit scares some people. It doesn't mean that the IRS is going to show up at your house and nitpick your situation apart. Another word that we often use is an energy assessment. Basically it's a diagnosis. So next week we're going to chat with Jennifer Monroe with 80K. And she will talk about what this process looks like. She's done hundreds of them. She is extremely good. Her business is where she will sit down with you right from the start, at your kitchen table, on the phone, you know, whatever needs to happen in the COVID situation, and explain the entire process from A to Z. She will then work with a contractor, and again, she'll be explaining all this process next week. But after this whole process is done, you will have a really comprehensive idea of how your house performs. So is it really leaky? Do you need to get some new appliances that are more efficient? Also, what programs do you qualify for? And like I said in the last slide, those payback periods will also be discussed. There'll be connections to to financing, et cetera. So we look forward to hearing from Jen next week. She's an incredible resource to the North Country and has a great deal of experience and a lot of care for people and their living conditions. So we'll look forward to hearing from her next week. Next slide. Great, so this is just a reminder that who Katie, Nick and I are, that we're your community energy advisors for the North Country. In the slide here, you'll see which counties we cover. If you have any questions about anything related to energy efficiency, specifically the programs that you might be eligible for, please give us a call depending on what county you're in, and we're happy to chat with you and explain everything that you would want to know about the process. Thanks. So if you, as Katie said in the beginning, if you had any questions, hopefully you could chat, put them into the chat section of the comment section, sorry, of Facebook Live, and we would happily answer them. Also, again, just a reminder, any other questions, feel free to just call us, email us anytime, and we'll be happy to respond to those questions. So we'll give it just a few minutes. We do have Guillermo on with us, who works with the North Country as well. So he will be monitoring any questions that get submitted and uploading them to our chat box. So we'll give it a couple minutes to see if there's any questions that come in, but otherwise, thanks for listening. Well, I'm gonna guess that no questions for today. So again, thank you so much for listening. Join us next week when we talk to Jen and learn more about energy audits, energy assessments, and hope everyone has a wonderful day.